Hi there, my name is Toby, and on this video I want to talk about something very important. I want to talk about learning. And surely the most important thing we can learn is learn how to learn. You see, so many people are teaching things, and you can find different courses and different videos teaching you how to learn this and that faster and faster. But surely the most efficient thing would be to learn how to learn, because if we knew that technique, we could learn anything we want. That is the most efficient thing to do. If we can learn how to learn faster, then whatever we want to learn, whatever we want to do in life, this is going to help us. And this, of course, is efficiency. That's exactly the principle of body efficiency. So if we want to train our body, learn or understand our body, rather than training any particular exercise set, any particular style or technique, why not understand the body itself, the internal dynamic functions of the body, and optimize those? Then you can use it for any type of exercise, any type of activity. So body efficiency training is universal. It applies to everything out there. It applies to yoga, it applies to martial arts, it applies to functional training, all types of exercise, whatever exercise you like to do, body efficiency training will apply to it. It's not about what you do, it's about how you do it. And it's the same with learning. It's not about what you learn, it's about the process of learning itself. And that is key, absolutely key. Now, if you think about it, we're all learning all the time anyway. We all are. Everything that happens to us is we're learning from it. It's going in, we're remembering it, it's affecting us. The trouble is we're not aware of that, so we don't realize that we are learning. And herein lies the problem. So we learn all sorts of stuff that are false, that are lies, and that are bad for us. You see, and we all understand that. You know, if as a child, of course, you're much more open to learning. The first 7 years of your life, you learn very fast. The younger you are, the faster you learn. Why is that? Well, your mind is empty. It's an empty vessel. Nothing in there, no preconceptions. The lid is open and it all just comes in fast as you like. Later on, the lid closes down, so now things don't get in so much. Well, they do get in, but what is happening is you have closed the connection. You've closed the connection to the infinite. You've closed down the possibilities. So what are you now learning? What's happening is you're getting feedback from inside yourself. You've learnt so many things, it's all locked inside you, and those things are just turning round and round and round. You've closed the lid on learning anything new. You're essentially recirculating the things you've already learnt. And in order to learn something more, we've got to stop doing that, open the lid, and allow ourselves to get something new information coming in. So you've got to open your mind. We've got to be open-minded in order to learn. That's the first obvious thing to say about it. And in order to be open-minded, it means your belief has to be fluid. Your beliefs have to be soft, not hard. You see, as we get older, our beliefs crystallize. Yeah, I believe the way the world is like this now. No, I'm not listening to any other new ideas. No, I know now. You think you know. Your beliefs have frozen. And because your beliefs have frozen, that is the lid on the top. Your beliefs have got to be fluid. Yeah, I can change my belief. In order to learn something new, you will have to change your belief. So you have to let go of your old beliefs. That requires a softening of your ego. This is all to do with ego. So let's have a look at this from another angle. Now, what are the principles of learning? Well, what is learning? What is learning? Let's start with that. What is learning? So as I said, we're learning all the time. But what is it? What's happening? Well, learning is new information coming to us. Always new. It must be new or it's not learning. And the reason we're learning all the time is every day something new is happening to us. There's always something new coming in. And the problem is we filter that. We decide what things are important and what are not important. So, as I said, when your beliefs close down, you only allow new information to come in that applies to the beliefs you've already got. You allow them to be reinforced. So it's more like you don't let in any information that changes your beliefs. You only let in the information that reinforces your existing beliefs. So your mind is closed, your belief structure is closed. And in order to learn, you need to be willing to open your mind. Let go of your previous belief structure. Your previous ideas have got to change. And that's tricky to do because the older you get, the more crystallized these ideas become. So we need to understand this, and I'm going to go into a bit more detail as to how this works. But you can see on a very simple level, and the way Bruce Lee said it, Bruce Lee says, when someone came to him to learn, he put a cup of water on the table and said, "This cup of water is full. Can you put any more water in here?" And he said, "Well, no, you can't." Exactly. If your cup is already full, how can you get any more water in? If you already think you know everything, how are you going to learn anything more? You have to empty the cup, and only then, with an empty cup, can you get more liquid in there, more water in there. Can you learn anything more? So that's the first thing, and that's ever so simple. We can all understand that. We need to understand how we work. So here's us, here's our body. And there's three aspects to our being. We have here one energy center, then you've got your heart energy center, and you've got your body. So here you have got, what you've got here, you can think of as spirit. Here you can think of this as soul or mind. This is your mind. And here you can think of this as body. Now, as I talk about in my lectures, I talk about metaphysics and physics and the fact the whole universe is one combined thing, is one combined fluid field, which I'm calling ether or chi, or even spirit. And this is metaphysics. So the top here is metaphysics. But metaphysics will interact with physics. Physics is down here. But these two things are really one and the same thing. They interplay. But it appears like there's two separate worlds, metaphysics and physics. And you can clearly see physics is the body, metaphysics is the spirit. So what is the soul? Well, the soul or the mind is the movement, the interaction between physics and metaphysics. And this is something that not many people will tell you, but the seat of the soul is here in the heart. The seat of the soul is here. Now, a seat of consciousness might be up here in the brain, but the seat of the soul is here. Now the soul, the mind is emotional. You can also think of this as emotions. So this is your emotional mind, your subconscious mind. This is subconscious. And your emotions are the seat of your soul because that is the thing that motivates you. That is the energy that gets you to do anything. It has to come from here, your emotions. You see, up here you've got your logical mind, or you can call this your conscious mind. But your logical mind is still guided by your emotions. Think about it. Even the most nerdy professor, the most intellectual professor, they seem to be emotionless. They've got no social skills. We know the type. They just, yes, there's this, that, and the other. And all they're thinking is logic, and they can't interact, in any sort of way. They're just like, I don't know. You got the idea. Typical character. So you think, well, they've got no emotions. They're just purely logical only. But actually, they're not. They're emotional. So even that logical person, that logical nerdy scientist, is driven into that world. They're fascinated by numbers, by logic. It's the emotion or the passion for logic has driven them into it. So they're still guided by emotions, even though they've gone logical. And then the same here, if you come down here, this is now your body. So this is, as your body, this is your unconscious mind. This you can call your unconscious mind. But your unconscious mind, your body, is still controlled by your emotions. Your body is going to do what you feel like doing. It is guided by your emotions. Your conscious mind is guided by your emotions, and your unconscious mind is guided by your emotions. So the seat of your soul is here, in the subconscious mind. The bridge, this is the bridge between metaphysics and physics. Right here. So if we know that and we understand that, this is where the learning happens. It happens here in your soul. It doesn't happen up here in your brain. It doesn't happen down here in your body. It happens here. But from here it will translate to your brain. From here it will translate to your body. So the soul, everything's got to come from the soul. That's the first thing to understand. And that makes everything very simple in life. You approach everything as a soul. A unified being, a bridge between physics and metaphysics. We're learning all the time because the soul is always experiencing. It's always experiencing. You experience things through the conscious mind. You have input of your senses coming in. Whatever you see, feel, touch, smell, these are your senses that are interpreted by your conscious mind. Whatever people tell you, you're listening to them, is filtered through your conscious mind. Images that you see, you filter them, that you can think about, they go through your conscious mind, but then they will also go down to your subconscious mind here. It's the same here with your body. Whatever interactions happen in the physical world, things actually happening, real things. You might, you get input into your body. You might pick up an injury. You've got a broken leg, say. That is something real that has happened. It's happened to your body, and that will feed back and goes to your soul. You learn from that. That memory goes in there. So essentially, learning all the time means you cannot avoid it. Every single thing that happens to you, every single thing that is inputted to you is gone in there. It's recorded. Because the soul is experiencing it, and that experience is recorded in the soul. It has to. It has to. The soul is outside space and time, but it is experiencing space and time, and it's experiencing space and time through the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. Now, the unconscious mind, this is quite universal. Again, it's unconscious because it connects to the material realm. So here's the earth. Think of this as the earth. Your unconscious mind connects to your body, which connects to the earth, which also connects to all other beings on this planet. The unconscious mind connects to the vast universe. But we can't hope to understand this. We can't hope to understand this. All that we can understand is what goes on in our soul, our own personal subjective experience. But all this goes in, and again, input from the top here. Not only do you get input for the senses, there's another input that comes from the pure infinite spirit. Let's put it up here. Pure infinite spirit, the cosmos. Let's call it the cosmos. Or the ether, let's call it the ether. So this will also come in. Now, again, this is unlimited, infinite information. This is a pure, spontaneous idea. So every now and then we'll have an inspiration. Where did that inspiration come from? It just popped into your head. You can't see things that might have inspired you. It's totally spontaneous. Now, of course, it's a combination. You get input from all these things all the time. But the trick is to open yourself up to this inspiration. Because if you think about it, when you're learning something, you're trying to learn new information. And that information is universal. Information is universal metaphysics. All information is. Theory only goes on in your head. It's only in the thought. Theory is information as well. It's metaphysical, not physical. When you put it into practice, it becomes physical. So the first aspect of learning is pure metaphysics. And if that information is universal everywhere, the infinite information of the cosmos or spirit, it will be in there as well. Whatever you want to learn, the knowledge of how to play a piano is in the infinite as well. It's not only in someone teaching you the piano, it's still in the infinite. So if I want to learn something, say I want to learn the piano, I ask the infinite to teach me. I want to learn the piano. Let me just learn it now. So my teacher becomes the infinite spirit. And that's the fastest way to learn, because that's always there, it's always teaching you. The thing is, as we grow up, early on in life, this is open. We get inspiration, everything's coming in. As we grow up, we close this one down. We close this one down, and all we've got is these physical inputs coming in. We've lost this one. And these are slower. These are slower methods of learning. You see, the fastest way to learn is non-linear. Non-linear, but we've been taught to learn in a linear fashion. You have to read a book and go along in sequence, each page in sequence, and by the time you reach the end of the book, you might have learned something. Non-linear learning is more like you take the book and you just skip through it randomly. And just go fast. You're just doing it intuitively. There's no logic to it, and so you might be learning bits and bobs. It's like none of this makes sense yet, but just keep going, and suddenly, bang, the whole picture hits you. So non-linear learning is generally faster, but it's harder to do because it requires awareness, conscious awareness. You need to be aware of what you're trying to learn and be open to it. So in other words, you've got to allow all input to come to you, and it's got to go to your soul, and your soul is the place that it is learnt. There's another example. You can see linear learning, or non-linear learning is like a jigsaw puzzle. All the pieces on the table, jigsaw puzzle. You can't see what the picture's meant to be, all these pieces, and you've got to start putting different pieces together, and then gradually, and then suddenly you realise what it is, and then you start putting it together, and eventually the whole thing comes together. But you need awareness of that. You've got to be thinking, observing. You've got to be switched on. Now, linear learning will be like a jigsaw puzzle, but all the pieces have got a number written on them. So you've got them all written down, the numbers. Oh, number 1 goes here, number 2 goes here, number 3 goes here. There's not so much thinking involved. You're just going through the process, building it up. And maybe we get halfway through, you might think, oh, I see what this might be. And then it goes through and you've got to finish it. But only at the end, now I can see the whole picture. Non-linear learning is you're going to get bits of the picture all together, but you're much more likely to see the whole picture faster in the non-linear method of learning. So that's what I'm talking about here today. How to learn the principles of learning. Well, one of the first principles is non-linear. Learning in a non-linear fashion. It's far more efficient. So look at this again. Look at this picture. I'm trying to explain a very big universal concept to you very quickly. So this whole lecture is learning how to learn. In a way, I'm teaching how to teach. It's the same thing. I'm trying to describe a massive concept on multi-dimensions in a very quick way. But if you look at this picture again, here I am, a soul, a singularity of consciousness, and I connect to the infinite cosmos, metaphysics, and I connect to physics, the infinite vastness of material reality as well. So these two things I'm connected to, but I am here in the middle. So in one way these things connect to me, and the other way I connect to them. So there's two things going on here. When I connect to these things, I am learning. Learning is information coming to me, but it's always spontaneous, new information. It must be new, otherwise it's not learning. But the other thing is, here I'm expressing outwards. I'm also expressing outwards. So what is that? The opposite of learning is creativity, creation. And we can think of it as two things. You can think of it as learning is the in-breath of the soul. The soul breathes in, it learns something new. And then exhale, that is the creation, creativity. I create something. That is the out-breath of the soul. And that is always something new as well. Creativity is doing something new. It must be new, brand new. Never been done before. Never been thought of before. A new idea. Spontaneous. And it's the same with learning. something new, you've never been done before. But it's coming in. The in-breath and the out-breath of the soul. This is learning and creativity. And we need these things because this is the life force. That is the way we keep on going. That is the way we keep the life force moving. It's imperative. If we stop learning and we stop being creative, we're on the process of dying. If we want to keep on living, we've got to keep on learning, and we've got to keep on creating. In-breath and the out-breath of the soul. So that's another way we can look at it. Now, the other thing is so the first principle of learning is awareness. You've got to be aware of what's happening. Because we're learning all the time anyway, and if we're not aware of it, it's going in there, but it might not be doing us any good. What happens to us? So when we're a child, there's nothing in there. We know that. The first 5 years or 7 years of our life, we learn very fast. The younger the child, the faster they learn. So a baby comes out, it's totally free, empty, nothing in there. And it's learning from the very beginning. Now, most children, the first thing they learn is pain. They're pulled out, the cord is cut, and they maybe, I don't know what they do, get them to breathe, give them a slap, I don't know what they do. But it's all a shock, all pain and suffering. There is a natural way of giving birth called a lotus birth. We don't do any of that. It all happens slowly and naturally. And the first thing the baby learns is care and attention, love. It's looked after gradually. It naturally comes into this world. But so from the very first moment, the very first thing you learn is the most powerful thing that affects your life. And for most of us, that is trauma. So the very first thing we learn is the most powerful influence in our life, and that is trauma. So we all suffer from that. Most of us suffer from that. And then from then on, as a child, it all goes in super fast. And it goes in a non-linear fashion. Because they have not yet learnt linear process of learning. They cannot read a book. So they can't do linear learning. That is why non-linear learning is always superior. Because linear learning has to be learnt. So therefore it's inferior. Non-linear learning does not have to be learnt. That happens automatically. And that's why a child learns so fast. The learning slows down as it becomes linear. Now they learn how to read a book. A, B, C, D. It's gone to linear learning now. And what happens is, when you start doing linear learning, it's like you're focusing inwards. You're closing everything down, and you're starting to repeat something over and over and over. So initially, learning is just pure input. It's coming in, coming in, coming in. And it's coming in from the cosmos as well. All these are coming in. Once a certain amount has got in there, this sort of shuts off. And then what happens is inside, the learning is circulating. It's just sort of circulating round and round inside you. So let's look at that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And you go over and over and over and over and over. It's now nothing new. It's inside your subconscious mind. You're playing it over and over and over. In your subconscious mind, in your soul, and because of that, it is also going into your body. Your body is now, after it spends a certain amount of time in the subconscious mind, it will also go into the body. So once that gets locked into your body, it's now really frozen into you. So that, I'd argue, is not learning anymore. That's not learning anymore. That's just reinforcing something that you've learned already. And that is what we're all doing now. The reason we can't learn anything new is because we've shut off this connection. We've shut off all the connections, in fact. And all we're doing now is we've got enough information in there and we're just turning it round and round and round. We're recirculating all the things we've already learnt. No, I know this. Something new comes in. I'm not listening to that. I know this. But what is it that you're circulating around? What are the lessons you have learnt? Not all of those are good. You've learnt some terrible things. So you've learnt some bad information. You've learnt some bad information about yourself. For example, as a child, you might have been bullied. or your parents didn't value you properly. So you've learnt that you're useless. You're a waste of space. You're stupid. Oh yeah, I'm stupid, I'm useless. And that's been repeated to you. Now you've got that as going inside. Yeah, I'm stupid, I'm useless. You've learnt that. And it's still there now, going round and round inside. And you can't get any new learning in because you're already filled up. The cup has been filled. And you're just churning that information over and over. And this is what you call a paradigm. This is a paradigm. You built a paradigm, a system of beliefs that your soul is following. You see, it's all in your soul. Your soul is following this system of beliefs. But they're not yours. They were given to you. They were given to you by everything that happens to you. Everything that everyone tells you, all the information that anyone says goes in there, is recorded, and then you churn it round and round and round. So in order to learn anything new, the first principle, remember, is awareness. But that awareness must be internal. You've got to look at yourself and see, what do I already know? There's a lot of stuff in there. And you've got to start questioning, is the stuff I know correct or not? Are the ideas about myself and my ideas about the world that are just going round and round in the background of my head, are they good? Are they true? And you look at your habits. These are also your behavioural patterns. You see, your behavioural patterns are in the body. These are the deepest level of your learning. Remember, you've got muscle memory. Muscle memory. You see, it works from this way. It works from the top down. Well, it also works from the bottom up. But let's say the top down. You know, you learn something. Let's take an example. Your parents tell you you're an idiot. They give you bad reinforcement. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. So I hear that from them. I see their body language telling me. That goes into my mind here, my conscious mind. My conscious mind thinks about it. Oh, I'm bad. I must be. That goes into your soul, your subconscious mind. And your soul feels it. Yeah, I'm bad. You feel the emotions of it. And it goes round and round and round and round in here. And from this affects your unconscious mind. It goes into the body. The body starts to collapse. Yeah, I'm stupid. Your posture collapses. Yeah. And now what's happened, it's locked into the muscle memory. But worse than that, it goes into the bones. It goes deeper. Your body is growing. The cells are dividing every day, growing. Your bones are growing. Your bones are crystal structures. And as your crystalline bones are growing, information is being recorded into that. So your bone structure itself is recording this, the way they are growing. So now you've got this information of being an idiot, told to you by your parents, locked into your subconscious mind, locked into your body posture. And then it's going round and round, inside only. And there's no more space. So now if someone else comes along, well, it's a classic one, you know, your parents tell you're an idiot, but then you meet a partner. You know, let's say you meet a loved one. And your loved one tells you, you're a great person. They're telling you, no, you're a good person. But you can't receive that information. That's a new belief. You can't accept it. Because deep down inside, locked in your subconscious, locked in your unconscious, is this belief, this learning that you're an idiot. So you can't accept this. And there's a big problem in relationships. Big problem. This is the baggage. We've all got this baggage. And this applies to anything I want to learn. If I want to learn to play the piano, it's difficult for me because I've got all this build-up of baggage. And it's not that, I'm not good at musical instruments. No, we all are. Playing the piano is just moving your fingers. We can all do that. It's only difficult because it requires the awareness and the control, and I've got to learn how to do it. And I can't do that. My body can't do it because it's already learnt. I can't do things. It's locked into this position. It can't move properly. I have to unlock my body, free up my bones. They've got to be able to move again. Then I've got to unlock my mind, undo the learning that I've already learnt, undo my heart, let go of this previous belief, be open, be fluid. And then I've also got to unlock my mind, let go of the thoughts that are playing in my mind. I'm telling myself an idiot. Am I really an idiot? No, I'm not. I've got to look at it. I need awareness of my soul. And the awareness has got to come here. That is the seat of your awareness, your feelings. It's not about thinking, it's about feeling. This is a big, big difference. Although the process does come from the top down, the center of your being is here. The center of your being is here. This is the point from which you could control this whole process. I can decide to let this in or not. I can also decide to let this in or not. I can disconnect myself from the world. I can do that. And that's partly the things we have learned. See, we've learned a system of control. We are being controlled. They're actively teaching us to be controllable. And that's why we can't learn anymore. We've already been programmed. We've already been programmed by the system, the society we live in. And the system is not benevolent. The system is malevolent. So it has purposely closed us off and purposely given us a set of beliefs of what we can and can't do, what we're not allowed to do and what we are allowed to do. And we have to break all this. So we have to open up this connection to the infinite, and we have to open up this connection to the earth, the physical universe, the material realm. There's nothing wrong with the material realm. This is nature. This is the natural way. But we've lost our connection to nature. So this is the way, this is the basic principle as what learning is, and the very first thing we've got to do to learn anything. And if we do this, learning will be quicker. So learning how to learn is understanding yourself, finding awareness, and looking at what you've already learnt, trying to let go of some of that. You've got to open your mind to new learnings. So let's say we've done that. What's the next thing? What are the next principles of learning? Or what are the principles of learning? So if I want to learn any subject, the first thing I'll do is you've got to have a quick overview. Remember, we need non-linear learning. So I know the subject, I quickly look through everything about it. Just work out, okay, what are all the aspects of this subject? So I learn, okay, and it's always only 3, 4, 5 basic principles, everything. And if you can work out these 2, 3, 4, 5 basic principles of the subject, you've now got an overall grasp of the whole thing. That's quite quick. You can do that quite quickly. Once you've got that, now you can start looking into the sequence. All right, which one of these things is the most important one to learn? And then you try to understand it. You don't try to just look through the knowledge. You might have to. But you try to understand it. It comes from your soul. You must want to learn it. You see, I can't learn anything I'm not interested in. So I dismiss a lot of information. It might be important, but I can look at it and say, I put a priority. That information, yeah, it's all right. It's not that important. I'm interested in particularly important things. So I'm interested in metaphysics. I mean, that's a vast subject. Very difficult to narrow it down. That's been my life's work, trying to narrow down metaphysics. Tricky one to do. Tricky. But you see, you've got to narrow it down, and once you've narrowed it down, you try to understand it, not memorize it. And in order to understand it, you need to have a passion. I really want to understand this. So if you don't feel that passion, forget about that. Look at another aspect. Oh, all right, that one. Oh, that interests me. Okay, let me work on that. You've got to be guided by your intuition. Guided by intuition as to what to learn. And you're learning from your soul. So then even if you do have to memorize things, you won't be trying because you will want to. You're so fascinated by the subject that you read it, the names go in, the words go in, and you'll remember them. If you're struggling to remember them, there's no passion there. You've gone back to linear learning, just Now, the other thing you can do is think about your teacher. Once you've made an exception, once you've understood the whole idea of the subject you're trying to learn, then you've got to look at which principles interest you. But then you've got to look at which teachers are teaching those things. Now, in particular, if it's a big subject, then there's going to be lots of different teachers talking about it. And you don't know enough. You don't know enough about the subject to know which is a good teacher. So you listen to all of them. And you're looking non-linear. Listen to that one, listen to that one, listen to that one. And then you start saying, all right, well, that one seems better than that one. And then you start narrowing it down to which teacher is telling you these principles in the clearest fashion. And then you start listening to that one more. But you remember, the teacher is not, you don't get hung up on the teacher. Because in order to learn fast, the fastest way to learn is direct from the pure cosmos, pure spirit. All of the information is there in the infinite. If I want to learn the piano, it's in there, in the infinite. So the fastest way to learn is download it from the infinite. But of course, you have to download it through your soul, through your body. Your fingers are going to have to play the piano, and that's going to take time. It's going to take time and practice for this to filter down into your unconscious mind, into your body and the way you move your body. But even if you want to play the piano, you don't just concentrate on your fingers, concentrate on the whole body structure, because you understand what it is. This energy has got to come through you, comes through you, through the arms, through down to the fingers, and then you play the piano. But you allow the whole body to do it. Again, you're thinking in a non-linear fashion. And initially you'll think, well, how's that going to help me play the piano? It will, because you're allowing the energy to flow through you. And of course, you've got to practice over and over and over. Practice. So that is when you're circulating round and round internally. But practice, remember, practice is not just repetition for the sake of it. Practice must be learning. That's the principles of body efficiency training. I'm not doing an exercise over and over for the sake of it. I'm doing an exercise over and over to practice my mastery. Every time I do a movement or an exercise, I'm improving the mastery I have over that movement. I'm not repeating this movement. Each time I do it, I'm doing it differently. I'm doing it with awareness. So I'm getting better and better at this movement. I'm learning it, but I'm not switched off. I'm not just repeating it for the sake of it. It won't get any better then. So not only am I circulating, I'm learning. I'm learning as I circulate. And I'm learning from both directions. I'm creating a bigger circulation, connecting to the universe at the same time. Remember, learning is the in-breath of the soul. This whole thing is cosmic metaphysics. And remember, the out-breath is the opposite. The out-breath is the creativity of the soul. So now I'm doing an out-breath. Right now I'm teaching something. I'm saying teaching. Let's just come back. We're talking about teachers. So the teacher I'm listening to, they're passing on information to me, but where did they get that information from? They got that information from the cosmos. They're translating it into their words in such a way that I can understand it. But of course they're giving me words. That is a linear learning. They're only telling me in words in a linear fashion. But if I'm listening non-linear, I will listen to the whole person fast. I'll watch them as well, try and feel the information. So I'm not only listening to their words, I'm trying to listen to their understanding of the words. Very different. And that's what I'm doing here as a so-called teacher. I'm not really teaching. I'm trying to transmit information spontaneously and creatively. So I myself am learning as I'm teaching. I don't know what I'm going to say, so I'm learning as well. And it's because I don't know what I'm saying, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm going to say. It's creative. So this is an in-breath and an out-breath of the soul. So this is also the most efficient way of teaching. But it's not the teacher that you don't get hung up on the teacher. You've got to go and be able to jump to the next one. You're grateful to the teacher, you respect the teacher, but the information comes from the cosmos. So my teacher is the Tao, the way, the cosmos. And I'm listening to the information from this ultimate infinite teacher, because all the information is there, it's there and I can get it instantly, but I'm also listening to all the information coming to me from all the levels. So if I find a really good teacher, I listen to them, I pay them respect, but I know I'm still just listening to the cosmos through them. And the moment I've got it, I'm going to get it myself. So I'm not dependent on the teacher. These are all just methods to learn. But I've always got to keep my eye on the prize. The eye on the prize is here, my focal point, my soul. So again, learning how to learn is the most efficient thing to learn for anything. But then after that, what is the most important thing to learn? What is the most important thing to learn? Well, I'd argue the most important thing to learn in life is the knowledge of yourself. Know thyself. Because if I know the knowledge of myself, I will know how to increase my life force, elongate the duration of my life. I will be able to enjoy life more, get more out of it. I will be able to learn more things because I've got more time. So the first thing to learn is learning how to learn. The second thing to learn is learning about yourself. And then after that, you can learn anything you like, but anything you like will be teaching you about yourself, because you're always going back to learning about myself and then learning how to learn, increasing my efficiency of learning. So not only am I learning a subject, I am continually accelerating the process of learning that subject. I'm not learning at a continuous rate. See, linear learning is very limited and it's continuous rate. I can do non-linear learning. I can also do that as a continuous rate. That's better. But I can do non-linear learning at an accelerating rate, spiraling inwards. So you're learning the whole subject. You learn the principles of it, you refine those principles until you get more and more until you hit the pinpoint, the actual crux of the matter. What is the key point of this subject? And you understand that from your soul, then you've got it. Then now you're at the point of learning what that subject is, understanding it. And it will come from your center. No thinking required, you just will embody it. So this is again, how do we learn about ourselves? If that is the second and most important thing to learn, well, we start with the body. That's why I call this body efficiency training. We start with something that we can feel, we know we've got. We can start with the mind, people do, that's fine, but the mind is so vast, so confusing. I mean, the body is so vast, so confusing. But the body is very easy. You see, you can start with a child with the body. And remember, you see, the process is like this. You learn something, it goes into your paradigm. Here, this is your paradigm. Very important word. This is your paradigm, the idea you have about yourself and the way the world is. And we've got to change this. We need a paradigm shift. And your paradigm will lock into your body. And so you can see your body like that. Oh, I can't move properly. I've got a stiffness. Or you've got an illness. After time, that becomes physical illness, dis-ease. And you can see that. So the first thing you do is try and improve that. I try and improve my body alignment, my body structure. I try and get my body into a better position. So this will unlock the paradigms that are trapped in my body. That will unlock it. That will allow the energy to flow. The circulating energy can flow again and it can go out. Remember, there's an in-breath and an out-breath. The out-breath is to do something creative. So I train my body, I'm doing something. And if I train my body, the most efficient way of training my body is again to do something creative. Dancing. Just dance about. Put some music on and dance about. As you dance about, try and free up the whole body. That's the simplest workout anyone can do. You could do it at your own level. It's a full combined mind, body, spirit workout. Find a nice song, a nice music, anything you like that you like to dance to. Just have a little dance. Switch off, let your mind relax, feel it, feel the music, just go with the rhythm. Unlock your body, unlock your mind, unlock your spirit. So easy to do, we can all do it. Super, super efficient. The only focus is trying to improve your body's alignment. Make sure you're improving your structure. You're learning something. So that's what I'm trying to share on this channel. I'm trying to tell you how the body structure should be, and that we can come through observation and study. So that is a science. That's not an opinion. That is a study. You've got to look at how the spine is supposed to be and try and reach that. So that is the thing we're learning. But how do you reach that? You reach that by experimenting, studying, and trying to understand what it feels like. So body efficiency training is the second most important thing to learn. First one is learning how to learn. Second one is learning the fundamentals of knowing yourself, know your body. And then, of course, knowing your body means you know your mind and know your spirit. That's what I'm talking about, esoteric metaphysics. Again, I talk about on this channel. But all that stuff helps you to understand this process, and then you can apply it to any particular topic you want to learn. Any field, physical, mental, scientific, spiritual, anything. Same principles apply, learning how to learn. And let me give you a couple of examples. So one example is I learnt crypto trading. So I invested in Bitcoin when it first came out. Not too early, but it took me a while it was complete mystery to me. I could not understand it, but I knew there's something special about Bitcoin. So I watched it. And I bought some at a point where £500 could get you half a Bitcoin. But it was so complicated. I'd go and meet the guy, I'd get a piece of paper. He was trying to explain to me how this whole thing works. I had no clue, and I thought, what the hell have I done? Handed over my 500 quid and I've got this thing with a barcode. I don't know, how do I work this? So I then left it, and 5 years later or so, then it was worth 5,000. So I thought, okay, all right, now I'm going to get into this. So I moved straight into it and traded it out for other cryptos. So at this point there was a lot. So now I started to learn. I started to learn about other cryptos, how to do trading, all this stuff, because I'd never looked into it. I was never that interested in the money sphere. I was always interested in metaphysics. I wasn't so much interested in the world, what's going on. Now I'm becoming more interested in the ways of the world, because it's important, and we've got to do something to make improvements on that. But anyway, so I traded it out. And now I'm learning, because now I've invested all my money. I put my own money on the line, and that's the fastest way to learn. Because I thought, should I just read about this, try and study what people are saying? It's going to take me months of study, and I can't be bothered with that. Put the money in, now I've got passion. Right, I want to make this work. So now I'm just doing it straight, in a non-linear fashion. I just feel it, right, that one, I'm going to look at that crypto. That looks I like the look of that, let's see. Do some research, go to trading. How do I buy it? Straight away buy it. How do I trade? Trade for another one. I'm experimenting. So I've accepted that money as a test run money. So I'm accepted I might lose it all, but I'm using it to learn. So that was the fastest way to learn. And in a couple of years, I've learned so much about crypto. I was on the first trading platforms, first auto trading. I invested in a couple of hundred different startups. So I really learnt it, and that's when I got into this. Finally, I discovered this project that is now I'm working on called Entify. So I would have not have learnt all the things I needed to learn to do Entify project had I not done this. So I got to a very high level of understanding in crypto, but in a non-linear learning fashion. So in some respects, I don't know things because I haven't gone through the step-by-step process. So I do know I've got gaps in my understanding, but they are specific localized gaps. I understand the big picture, and that's all that interests me. If someone tells me something, I just want to see the big picture. All right, I've got the big picture, that's it. I don't need the details. I will only need the details when I have to do something in that field. So same in the crypto space. I don't know the details, but when I have to do something in that area, then I need the details. Then I apply my learning to those details. I'm not going to waste my time on details that do not affect me right now. This is where efficiency comes in. This is where awareness comes in. I've got to be aware of what it is I want to learn, and I've got to be disciplined to focus only on that. And it also means I don't work too hard. You see, I'm following the Tao, the way, allowing the information to come. It's a natural process, in-breath and out-breath. I can't force it, I can't rush it. We want to learn something fast, but ironically, by rushing, you won't learn fast. You learn faster by relaxing, letting go, and allowing the information to come to you in a non-linear fashion. And the next thing that I've been learning, I've been a lot of work, like I said, learning about law, natural law, common law. So I could learn the legal system and the lawful system that's out there, but I'm not going to do that. 10 years studying to become a barrister. No way learning all these things. I'm not going to do that. I look at the fundamental principles of the whole thing. And I'm interested in the alternative law, what these sovereign movement people are saying, because they're saying there's another way of looking at this. But if you look into those guys, the freedom movement, everyone's got a different story about it. Everyone tells you a totally different picture. Well, this is common law. No, this is common law. This is the Magna Carta. No, you don't need the Magna Carta. This is history. No, I don't need. So which one of these guys do I listen to? So I know there's something important there, but I don't know enough about the subject to know which teacher to listen to. So I listen to all of them. I get the whole picture, what everyone's saying, then I understand it. All right, there's 2 or 3 schools of thought in the freedom movement. Now I understand what all those are. Now I make the selection, which is the most basic principle one. And the most basic principle one in this freedom movement is the sovereign mentality. You just need to get the idea that I am sovereign. That's the principle of everything. Now I know which teacher is the one to look for, which is why I've selected this guy, Sovereign Pete. When I saw that guy, I was already at the point of understanding enough of what this is all about to realise, okay, that guy is hitting the nail on the head. I'll listen to him. Now I'll listen to everyone else because I'm open to the infinite. I'm not saying Sovereign Pete is my one and only teacher. Thank you, Sovereign Pete. I will only learn what you say. No. We've got the same problem in martial arts. Yes, master. And then you can't go and learn from any other master. No, I will not learn from anyone. I will only learn from you. No. You shut this off now. You want this to be open. It's got to be open. My master is the Tao, the infinite cosmos. It's not a person. It's not an individual. It's not an individual personality. It's pure abstract. I also call this the great mystery. It's a mystery. It's all in there. But I'm listening to Sovereign Pete because he's got a good connection to that vast information and he's channeling it. He's talking about it in a very clear fashion and he's going straight to the point. So now I know who to listen to. So now I know the subject, I know the basic idea. That's enough for me. If I need to now narrow it down to specifics, I'm not going to bother until I need to. When I do, I look into it. And if I can't see straight away what to do, I'll go and refer to Sovereign Pete and he'll know the details. So I'll say, okay, what are the details about this? I don't have to waste my time looking everywhere. Now I can just look to him, get the details for this. This is all about efficiency. I personally only need the big picture. I need the understanding of the principles of the big picture. And I need to know the source where I can get the information from about the details. So when I need the details, I go to the source to find the details. They're very efficient, and that's the way you learn. And I learn the details when I need them. I'm not wasting my time on the details until I need them. And it's the same with playing the piano. I've done lots of different things. I'm also an artist. So as an artist, I could do it, but I'm a universal artist. So I was painting, sculpting, writing. I've written books, musician, but I never bothered. I did learn music as a child, but I lost interest. I don't want to know what anyone tells me. I'm not reading that music. It's just improvisation. I just do improvisation. I'm feeling it. That's fine. But what am I doing in improvisation? I'm feeling the movement of my fingers. I'm listening to it. And by improvising on the piano over and over and over and over and over, you get a feeling of the thing. And you're creating your own music, but no one has told you. And I did teach myself the piano as well. And the way I taught myself the piano, again, I was young. I was only a youngster. Couldn't be bothered to do lessons. My sister was a musician, so I just asked her, what's the mid C on the piano? Or whatever it was, that one. And that connects to that note on a piece of paper. So I got Beethoven's, I think it was Für Elise, one of these ones. It's quite difficult to do the whole thing from nothing, and I learnt the C, and that's that one. And then all I need to know is one note up is that, one note up is that, one note, and then I just looked at the notes and started working it out. And within a month or so, pretty much could play it, Für Elise. And another friend of ours, again I was young, who was a piano teacher, an expert piano, and I just showed him, can I show you my piano playing? And he thought, I haven't learnt piano. I said, no, I taught myself. And I just played in Für Elise. And he was so impressed. But then I lost interest and I didn't bother going any further than that. You see, you've got to have the interest. It's got to come from your soul. So I'm interested in ultimate knowledge, metaphysics. So I chase that. And I chase something that I see as important. So now I'm working on this project, Entify, that is important. So I'm chasing the knowledge that I need for that. But again, I'm chasing the universal knowledge for it. I will narrow down the specifics as and when I need them, and I will look for the person who is an expert on those specifics. That's the quickest way. So that's a couple of practical examples. Non-linear learning, the most efficient way. But to bring it back to the center, think of it as this. It's all to do with becoming awareness, know thyself. You are the soul, a spiritual being, connecting the metaphysical world to the physical world. They're one and the same. And I reach out into the cosmos and I reach out into the earth, and I can learn from both, and I can express into both. I can be creative. So learning is the in-breath. Creativity, activity is the out-breath. That's the secret of your soul, keeping it going. And awareness means you can let go of the learning you don't need. Let go of that. You've got to release your old beliefs, let them go. Release that trapped blockages in your body. It's cramp. I'm stuck now, I can't move. I've got to open up, release. It's hard work. Oh, open. The bones are cracking. You have to let that go. Now I've got some space. Now I could do something new. Now I can learn. So these are the process of doing it. I hope this made sense. And the last thing I used to learn, of course, is martial arts. I learned so many sets in martial arts. That's physical muscle memory. But because I learned so many sets in Shaolin, there was a point where I must have learned 35 sets. And I memorized them all. 25, 35, I can't remember, but these were long sets. The longest set was 400 moves. It took nearly an hour to do it. And if I didn't practice that, I'd forget it. So I'd learned so many sets that I could learn sets very fast, like a dancer. A dancer can learn a very long routine quickly. How can they do it? They can do it because they've got awareness of their body and a control of their muscle memory. So they're essentially a dancer learning a routine. It's non-linear learning. It's going straight in. Visual mind goes all the way down to the unconscious mind, the body, and the body memorizes the feeling and the positioning. So this is the approach of all learning. Even if you're learning something intellectual, learn it sitting in a good body posture. The memory of it, the understanding of it has to go into the body. The brain is not in the head, it's everywhere. Your bones are holding the memories. Everything that happens to you is recorded in this thing. Everything. Not just the brain. I'll do a whole talk about the brain in time. I hope this little talk made sense. And I may do more talks about this in time. And I dedicate this talk to my best friend, and he was my Kung Fu senior brother, who passed away too early many years ago. And this was his thing. He used to do that. He was a Kung Fu genius. I love this guy. He inspired me. He taught me a lot of stuff. He got me into teaching Kung Fu. So we were, much younger. We trained together early in the morning. But he passed away suddenly, way too early. But that was his thing. He was teaching people. He was saying, learning how to learn. So not only was he a martial artist, he was a computer guy. He was an NLP guy. He was a body flow. He was working out body flow, fluidity, as well as structure. Very similar things to what I'm teaching. And if he was here today, him and I would be doing this together. He'd be teaching this in his own way. I'd be talking about it in my own way. And we'd be training together. We'd be working on this channel. We'd probably each have our own channels doing our own thing, but we'd often be working together because we got the same idea. So his work is really continuing through me, and I often think about him. And this little talk is dedicated to him, Sebastian Chung. And I'll talk more about him in time. And I've got some videos of him, but I have to digitize them somehow. So dedicated to Sebastian Chung, my dear bestest friend, Kung Fu brother. And I know he's out there. Often he inspires me, and I suspect this very talk was a little inspiration from him. So, learning how to learn. I hope this gave an introduction, and it was a very non-linear talk, and I'm trying to get the information or the wisdom through to you in the fastest possible way. So I urge you to listen to this lecture in a non-linear way, listen to it over and over, and listen to it and see if it sinks in, see if it makes sense. And let me know in the comments how you get on. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.